Hi everyone, thank you for taking the time to check out my AI Fellows case study. My name is Kirkland Ahrens and I'm a special educator at the English High School. In this short presentation, I'm going to walk you through how I've been using AI tools to make co-teaching more manageable and more meaningful, especially as our district pushes towards more inclusive classrooms. As you may be aware, our district is in the early stages of a push towards more inclusive classrooms, which means there's more co-teaching happening, there's more push-in support, and there's more special educators trying to adapt materials and plan with multiple teachers. For me, I worked with 4 different teachers this year, which meant I was using 4 different curriculums. I had minimal planning time with each one of those teachers, and overall, unrealistic expectations. When you only have 20 minutes to plan with someone and the materials aren't really built for your students, we're not able to co-teach. We most of the time just end up scrambling. This is where my problem of practice comes in for this project. My problem of practice is about efficiency. I needed a way to take the district to high quality instructional materials, which are often a little too rigid, and quickly generate a version that works for my students and for a co-teaching classroom. That meant adapting content, suggesting teacher roles, and scaffolding student-facing materials before I even sat down to meet with other teachers. This is important because more inclusive classrooms are on the horizon. We need systems that support real collaboration and not just compliance. It's not just about having 2 people in the room. If we want co-teachers to actually teach together, we need tools that take care of the groundwork. That's why I turned to artificial intelligence. Specifically, I used a tool called Solara. Solara helped me build a foundation for co-teaching that let me and my co-teachers use our limited time where it counts, looking at student work, adjusting instruction, and showing up with intention. AI helped us make the first draft of the plan. That way we were able to act as a team and be proactive instead of being reactive. The tool I used is called Solara. It's an AI planning assistant that's developed by Panorama and lives in the Panorama site. It can take uploaded documents like unit plans, data, goals, and it turns them into suggested lesson plans or station structures or instructional scaffolds. As you'll see, Solara is not perfect, but it gives you a foundation to build from. Especially if you're short on time, which I definitely was, this is a huge help. Once I understood what Solara could do, I gave it the same materials that I was already kind of drowning in. I uploaded the district's curriculum materials, a unit PDF. I gave it a spreadsheet of our students' MAP scores. I gave it IEP goals for the students that I work with, and even a few vocabulary lists that were tied to the unit. The goal wasn't to get like a perfect lesson, it was to save hours of time by getting a structured starting point that the teachers I work with can then build off of. I wanted something that I could bring into a planning meeting and say, here's an idea, let's make it work for our classroom. So as you can see on the screen, here's what it actually looks like when I use Solara. I started by uploading a few things that I already have, the curriculum materials from Fish Tank, some MAP scores, a vocabulary list, and some notes from students' IEPs or student goals. It was nothing new, it was the stuff that already lived in the tabs on my Chrome. It was just, I put it into this one tool. Solara takes all of that and it starts building a plan. And it's not just any plan, it's a co-teaching ready structure. It gave me suggestions for stations based on new skills in the unit. It even gave teacher roles, who's leading, who's supporting, and it honestly made it easier to start that co-planning conversation because we weren't making those decisions in the moment. It even gave me some student-facing materials, things like scaffolded vocabulary charts or simplified prompts, and it was connected directly to specific units or even specific lessons. Overall, I'm still editing the materials, I'm still making decisions, but at least we have a starting point with something. And that was a really big shift. We weren't walking into the meeting thinking about what are we going to do? It was thinking about how are we going to make this draft of a plan work for us. So Solara took the inputs that I was showing you on the last screen and gave me something that I had really never had before, which was a first draft of an already scaffolded lesson plan that was built for co-teaching. Solara suggested small group stations aligned to the unit. It gave clear roles for the teachers. For example, like Teacher A could lead the discussion, Teacher B supports a small group, and students rotate through scaffolded activities. It suggested what those activities were so that we weren't having to spend our energy trying to figure out what each one of those stations was going to be. It also helped create those student-facing materials like vocabulary charts and simplified prompts that actually align with the unit, but also support students with IEP goals or multilingual learners. It wasn't perfect, but it did save me hours and let me walk into a planning meeting with something real to work with. We weren't having to spend our energy generating everything. We could take what we saw Solara give us and edit it and make it work for what we were going to do in the classroom. And so to wrap up, again, my problem of practice was rooted in a real challenge that we're facing right now at my school. As our district is shifting towards more inclusive classrooms, we're being asked to co-teach more, but without really enough time or structure or support to plan effectively. Solara kind of helped me fill that gap. It gave me the foundation to work from. It gave me a first draft of a lesson that included roles for co-teachers, differentiated scaffolds, and materials that work for our students. That meant that the planning time I had with other adults could shift from reactive to intentional. Instead of spending 30 minutes figuring out what to do, we could focus on how to support students based on their real data and our curriculums. My next step is to try using Solara in real time with co-teachers. I want to make the AI part of our actual planning conversations, and if that works, I want to share this process with other teams at my school. I've known all year that inclusive classrooms need inclusive planning systems, and Solara was really the tool to help me start building one. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation.